An overcast, nasty day, and it looks like the week is not going to be any better than today with Hurricane Eta. It's Hurricane Eta just off the coast of Florida. Let's go to a guy who, during these times of situations where there's emergencies in the state, his job is even that more important. That is Galen Unall with Life South. Galen, these kind of situations just magnify how bad the blood bank is low on needed blood.
Yeah, the rain, people don't donate. It makes it really, really tough. So our blood supply was already really low. So I'm hoping that the rest of our system in Georgia and Alabama can really pick us up, because this rain, starting yesterday, our collection started going down. So we had a good Saturday, had a good Friday. We'll see what today brings.
Looks like Price and his guys had a pretty good Price Harris, the head coach at Denellen, and his guys had a pretty good game Friday night. It looked like Westport the first two times. Westport had them three and out 2 times in a row, but then that Denellen offense got going, and it was really they ran them out of the they ran them off the gridiron after that.
Yeah, and Westport just couldn't compete. They couldn't throw the ball, and so Dunellen's just loading the box, and they just came after them. And with there's no real threat of throwing, it made that team really one-dimensional. They just couldn't get over that hump. And then on the other side of the football, Dunellen's a good football team. They're offensively, they're as good as any team I've seen in a while. They've got McCants, who transferred over from Bellevue, and Trent Townsend, who I think's a really, really solid player. I think he'll play, quarterback. Kids who could do and then you got Fitzpatrick, who's just explosive, and that was a difference in the football game right there.
Yeah, we lost you a little bit in the area you're going through Gainesville, but
oh yeah, I sure am. Yeah.
I thought you were talking. You said something about Townsend being a great quarterback. He really lit it up once he got going, and Westport just didn't have an answer for him.
Well, he didn't have to throw the ball much, because they could do whatever they wanted to do. They were methodical. They could run the football pretty effectively, and they had the clock and the score on their side, and so they could just dominate the game. It was not an exciting game. Westport didn't get over the 50-yard line. They never got into Dunellen's territory. Dunellen was in control of that game from the very beginning, and Westport just could not run an effective offense.
Kind of like the direct opposite of the Florida-Georgia game. That looked like for a while whoever had the ball last would win, and then Florida's defense picked it up in the second half and just slammed the door shut on Georgia.
Yeah, I watched the second half of that game. The first half I was busy, but the second half of the game I'm like, holy cow! Kyle Trask all of a sudden is becoming a good quarterback. I think everybody knew that last year, but I think he's getting better and better and better, and he's got such good wide receivers to throw to, and Mullen knows how to run an offense, and it showed. And Georgia just couldn't catch up, and ended up changing quarterbacks. And big win for Florida.
And coupled that with a couple losses, Clemson goes down as number 1, loses to 4 in double overtime. I'm sorry. I know they beat Clemson, but they didn't beat Clemson with Trevor. They beat Clemson with some guy I'd never heard of. And then
he'll be good, but he's a freshman.
He's a redshirt freshman. I know they're ranked 4th in the country, and they're the Golden Domers and everything, but I think they get more. They're living more off Lou Holtz than they are in actual what they're. I just don't think Notre Dame's as good as everybody wants to think they are.
Well, they've been there for a while now. I'm not going to take that away from them. They've been in the hunt. They've played in the big game before. That was a good win for them, but you got to put an asterisk next to it because, as you said, Trevor Lawrence wasn't there. I think with Clemson, or with Trevor Lawrence there, Clemson wins a football game. Yeah. I just do.
Yeah.
I think he's that talented.
I don't think anybody questions that if Trevor Lawrence is on the football field, Notre Dame doesn't win that football game.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and again, you look at I'm curious to see what that does to the rankings. Clemson's got to be in your Final Four. They have to be. They're Clemson, Alabama, and then you got to put Notre Dame in there now, and then you have
Ohio
to decide who you, and then Ohio State, and that's really where we're at. And I know people don't like that, but that's the fact of the matter. That's where we're at right now.
Well, let's talk about that for a moment, because the reason I'm aggravated with it, and I'll tell you why. And people can say SEC biased all you want, whatever. The reason I'm aggravated by it, Ohio State's going to play 2 less football games. 2. Right. You know how big 2 less football games is on the attrition, on injuries, on just legs and freshness? Two big boy football games, because that's what the Big Ten plays. 2 less big boy football games. That's a huge advantage for Ohio State or whoever comes out of the Big Ten, in my opinion.
Well, and think about the extra game. If you took those 2 games away from Clemson, they wouldn't play Notre Dame. The only reason they're playing Notre Dame is because they went to an all-ACC schedule.
The only reason.
Right? I mean, let's be clear about that. Now, granted, they don't get to play South Carolina, and I think they had another big game that I can't remember scheduled. But Notre Dame, that's a big game. I'm sorry, that's a big game.
It just to say that Ohio State or Michigan or Wisconsin or whoever it is, because whoever it is comes out of there.
Michigan's not going to make it.
I know whoever it is comes out of there. I never pay enough attention. It's just Ohio State and everybody else. Really, is how that works usually.
Sure.
But to only play 8 football games is a detriment to everybody else that's involved. You're just fresher. You just are.
It's their own fault. It's their own fault too, right?
And they get advantages
because they started late.
Right, and they get it. Nobody's penalizing them for that. They get an advantage. We started a month later than you, and we get an advantage for doing so by having fresher legs and less attrition through injury and everything. It's an unfair advantage, in my opinion.
And I can't disagree with that. Yeah, I'm not happy with it at all. But, what are you going to do? I mean, nobody's going to beat Ohio State in the Big Ten. They're just not. There's nobody else on their level. Justin Fields is generational. Once every generation, you get a quarterback that good for your football team. Trevor Lawrence is that guy at Clemson. Justin Fields is that guy at Ohio State.
And they were never going to do it, and I know that because the National Championship Committee wants to sell tickets. They want to, not just tickets, but TV airtime. They want all the eyeballs on it. So they were never going to say something like, you have to have at least 9 games or 10 games to qualify. They were never going to say that because then that leaves the Big Ten out, and it leaves the Pac-12 out. Although the Pac-12 hadn't done anything recently. Everybody says, Oregon was in the tournament. Oregon had no business in the tournament when they were in it. Just like when you said Notre Dame was in the tournament. Well, we saw why Notre Dame shouldn't have been in the tournament the year they got into it. So it just seems to me that this sets up for teams that don't have to play enough football games to have a distinct advantage.
I completely agree, but I do think Notre Dame's a good football team. I'm not taking anything away from it. They did win. Now, granted, Clemson didn't have their best player, but they did win. They did pull out the win. That's a significant win. That's the biggest win in that program's history in a long time, maybe since Lou Holtz. I mean, that's a big win.
The consensus best player in the country wasn't on the field. Asterisk, don't care.
But you can only play who's in front of you.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. Notre Dame doesn't beat Clemson with Trevor Lawrence.
How many times have these Gator apologists said that about Florida's schedule when they play Tennessee, who can't get out of their own way, Vanderbilt, South Carolina, 3 weeks in a row, and they're like, well, you can only play who's in front of them. I mean, come on. Okay. I mean, it's not Notre Dame's fault that Trevor Lawrence doesn't understand the COVID protocol.
So are you saying then that a team that has to play Georgia, Auburn, Mississippi State, Texas A&M, South Carolina, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, Florida State when they got a regular schedule, that's the same as a Clemson team or Notre Dame team that has to play. Wait, who do they got to play in the ACC? No, Florida State's terrible.
Miami.
Wait, hold on. Florida State's terrible. Florida State's terrible. Miami's terrible. Georgia Tech's terrible. Virginia Tech's terrible. They're always
a tough team to play.
Okay, do you think any of those teams I just named, Florida State, Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech, you think they go better than 500 in the SEC? No, it's impossible for those teams.
Yes. Come on.
You know Florida State's a joke. Can we just go ahead and say that? Florida State's a joke. Can we say that?
Yeah, this year, and now they'll start to turn it around. You're talking, you can't take 1 year, because there have been years where Auburn has been a joke. There have been years that Georgia's been a joke.
But there's not been a year where the entire there's not been a year when the entire conference is a joke. Clemson's the ACC is the almost competitive conference.
Oh, except when they win national titles against Alabama.
But they just got Clemson. That's all they got.
Hold on. Okay. Well, how many years in a row did they only have one team? I mean, that's. I'm sorry. Only one team could be the national champion.
But
only
my
one
point
team
is,
could be the ACC conference champion.
But my
Your
point is
mute.
No, it's not.
The ACC has beaten the SEC in the game that matters more than they've lost it.
First off,
end of story.
End of story. First off,
Tom, you lose.
It's moot, not mute.
I did. Didn't I say mute?
You said mute.
I'm wrong. Kind of like how everybody who's an SEC apologist is wrong. Thinking you're the greatest conference of all time.
It is the greatest conference of all time.
Last week.
It's the greatest conference of all time. Hey, we got to take a break. I got to mute you. Take a break. We'll be right back.
You need a break from this SEC crap.
We'll be right back.
Worked at Palm Garden for so long, and I tell them it's the people. I love to hear the life stories, especially those from the greatest generation. Celebrating life stories is what sets Palm Garden apart, finding out what's important to them. And I love being a resource. Like Macy's Santa, if I can't help, I'll send them to Gimbel's. After all, Palm Garden is located on 34th Street. I'm Jan from Palm Garden. Call me and let's chat. 854-6262.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Now you did it. Are you completely insane? He's back. He, who must not be named. The man, the myth. The only guy in Ocala to eat his own weight in fried pickles. Twice. Now, you asked for it. Sorta. Live and in person. It's Tom Schmitz.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks with Tom Schmitz. Talk with Galen Unall from Life South. Brought to you by the good folks at Penn Flooring, family-owned and operated, serving Marion County for over 30 years. Penn Flooring is a full-service flooring company dedicated to finding the best solution for your flooring needs. They have experience in both commercial and residential. Call them at 352-351-3420. Also, we'd like to thank the Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center, located at 2700 Southwest 34th Street. They offer skilled nursing, physical, occupational, and speech therapy. If you have any questions, call Palm Gardens at 352-854-6262. Let's go back out to a guy who's trying to make an argument that the ACC is anywhere near as good as the SEC, which is complete garbage. So we'll go to another complete garbage.
You're trying to say the ACC doesn't belong with the SEC, and I'm just saying they've won more titles than the last.
One team in the ACC belongs. But that's my point, is the one team in the ACC doesn't play the same schedule. You're not playing a stiffer competition at Clemson.
You have a full month between the any championship game and the national championship game. Everybody gets healthy in that time.
Oh, and that's ridiculous.
Argument.
But by the way, the fact that we have to wait a month for the national championship game is ridiculous. Okay, can we both agree on that? Can we agree on that?
Got to get through finals.
Yeah, I played in Division One. Look, I played in Division One AA, where we played 11 football games. Then we played 3 playoff games and a championship game. We were done by Christmas, and we all got through finals and everything.
Well, you're not as smart as D1.
No, now we are D1. We play our bowl game 3 weeks after the season's over. It's ridiculous.
Sure do.
The bowl season. When I was a kid, I thought it was smart that the bowl season was fun because I'm a kid and they're on TV and it's great. Once you play at the college level and everything and you see championships that are won through an actual playoff system where after your last regular season game, you go right into the playoffs just like they do in the NFL, it's a whole different way of winning a national championship than the way a committee picks the best 4 teams off of what the polls think plus what the committee thinks. And the fact that there's 5 power conferences, but only 4 teams get allowed in and everything. And I know people go, well, Tom, do you really think number 8 last year could have beat number 1? No. But I think 6 through 3 could play each other in the first round and give 1 and 2 a bye. And you could have a playoff system. And you could use the existing bowls, by the way, and it would probably bring more revenue to those existing bowls.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I know the chairman of the Gator Bowls talks about that a lot. So his name just went right out of my brain. But, yeah, I know he and I have spoken about that before, how you just use the existing bowls because the Gator Bowl would love to host one of those rounds right there in Jacksonville.
Yeah, and it would make perfect sense to have the Gator Bowl to do it.
I agree, but that's why they're never going to do it.
Well,
you're assuming the NCAA. The NCAA, I think we'll agree on this. There's 2 things you and I agree on. The referees are terrible, and the NCAA is worse than the referees.
Okay, not only do we agree on that, but I mean, that's the first time you and I have been so in lockstep that I want to, just give you a big hug or something, because the 2 things in life that are terrible are anybody in a striped shirt calling penalties.
Yeah.
And what's a bigger joke than them is the National Collegiate Athletic Association and its supposed ability to oversee college football.
If I was running for president, that would be on my my campaign. I could run on those 2 things, and I would win all the electoral votes. I'd dominate.
100%.
You know what I mean? You go out, and then I throw in the Olympic Committee, the International Olympic Committee, is maybe more corrupt than, at least referees aren't corrupt. They're just bad at their job.
No, there's
the NCAA is corrupt.
There's one thing more corrupt than the NCAA or the Olympic Committee.
The FIFA?
FIFA. It's not even close. FIFA is the most corrupt sporting system in all the world. And I know people go, well, what is FIFA? It's football or soccer, depending on what side you're on. And so Americans by many go, yeah, but what does that matter to us? But if you follow the best sports, and I love English Premier League because it's the best soccer to me in the world. And that's the same reason I watch Major League Baseball, same reason I watch American football, the NBA, because they're the best leagues. There's basketball leagues in Greece. There's basketball leagues in Argentina. They're not as good as the American Basketball League. Well, the English Premier League to me is the best. So when the World Cup comes, I know people on the team and on, and I go, yeah, but FIFA's in charge. There's something screwy's going to happen. Somehow somebody's going to buy a guy off, and it's just, you know that about FIFA. You know that going in, that FIFA is almost like the WWE in my estimation.
Oh, yeah, the fix is in.
Yeah,
you know who's going to win before the matches even start.
Right.
Sure.
FIFA's the worst, but the NCAA, not very far behind.
Did you ever see, they did a documentary about the physical therapist who did like the women's gymnastics and worked with the NCAA?
Oh yeah, the guy
on Netflix.
Oh yeah, with all the molestation and everything, and the NCAA turned a blind eye to it.
Yeah, because he explained his technique, and they're like, this isn't right at all, and you just want to punch that dude in the face, and it makes you, every time you watch, every time you watch the Olympics, you realize that it's not nearly as pure and as clean as it's presented on NBC.
No.
It's just not. Behind it, it's dirty and ugly and corrupt.
Bob Costas does a good job making it look a lot cleaner, and Dan Patrick make it look a lot cleaner than it actually is, the Olympics. And, the NCAA, let's talk about the NCAA. We got a few seconds here. Got about a minute to go. The NCAA, my biggest problem in NCAA is if a coach gives a player $200 for an airline ticket to go to his grandmother's funeral, that's a violation. But the NCAA allows schools to sell jerseys and everything and make billions off the kids, and that's fine. And, I know people say, well, Tom, they're getting an education. Folks, that ship sailed a long time ago. The whole
Not always.
The whole scholarship thing was when football was a regional thing and there wasn't TV involved. Now the NCAA and college football is a $10 billion a year industry. And
I think it's more. I think it's different than that. When they talk about, they get an education. You have to understand that these coaches don't necessarily want you to go to class. They want you to win football games. And now they get a bonus if you get like A's, and so they put you in classes where they know the teacher and the professor is going to give you an A.
100%.
And that scholarship is year to year.
Yes.
You never hear about the kids who lose their scholarship because they put academics in front of athletics.
Well, that's what
you
people
never
think.
Hear about that.
That's what people think. People think once you sign a scholarship, it's for 4 years. No, you re-sign it every year.
Yes, sir.
And look, we had Rocks for Jocks at Georgia Southern. It was a geology class that you knew if you signed up for that class, you were making an A or a B. And we were a little 1AA school, you know what I mean? You knew the teachers to take. And by the way, voluntary workouts, miss one of those. See how that works out for you. You're not a student athlete.
Exactly.
You're an athlete who, by the way, if you got time, get your ass to class and go to class. But if you don't have time, I don't care because where I played, the coaches were making $750,000. That was a lot of money for those guys. And if I screwed that up or somebody screwed that up by not being able to be eligible or something, or you screwed it up by not coming to workouts and all, they didn't care about your class. They cared about their $750,000 a year job. And by the way, I would too.
Absolutely. And so this whole thing of it hasn't been amateur athletics since after World War II.
Jim Thorpe may have been the last amateur athlete, and he got stripped by the NCAA. He got stripped by the Olympic Committee for not being an amateur. Hey, Galen, where's the Bloodmobile today?
Yeah, hey, today we're going to be out at the Shores Walmart, so please stop by there or come by the Boulevard, 1607 East Silver Springs Boulevard. Check us out at lifesouth.org, and just please give blood. Hurricane preparedness, I think we all need to start thinking about it if we haven't already. But part of that is donating blood, so please get out there, give the gift of life, donate blood.
Galen Unoff from Life South joins us every morning at 8 a.m. And even if he's an ACC apologist, I kind of like the guy.
Well, I'm not an ACC apologist. You're an SEC apologist.
No, it's the Almost Competitive Conference. How can you defend the Almost Competitive Conference?
Oh, jeez. I don't know. Keep cheating. Keep cheating. You guys should have gotten the death penalty.
Let me tell you, the SEC is very good at cheating. I'll give you that. But that's just don't be mad as an ACC team that you can't cheat as well as the SEC. Come on. If you ain't cheating, you're not trying.
Well, hey, Florida State will give out shoes. We got all the shoes you could ever want.
All right,
crab legs.
We got to go. Thanks, Galen.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Galen Unoff from Life South. We'll be right back after this timeout.
Mall Studios. This is WOCA Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Giuliani goes on to say, there is strong evidence that this was an election that in at least 3 or 4 states and possible 10, it was stolen. Now, you can't let an election go into history without challenging that. Alex Trebek has lost his battle with cancer.
This is Jeopardy!
The 80-year-old Jeopardy game show host holds the record for the most episodes spanning 36 years.
Alex Trebek!
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard.
In March 2019, he had been diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer and was among a small percentage of people to live a year or longer with the diagnosis. In July, he published his memoir, The Answer Is, Reflections on My Life. Mr. Trebek died at home in Los Angeles, California Sunday after more than 18 months fighting pancreatic cancer. USA Radio News.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
After about a month of Extendovite, I don't know what it is about the circulation factor, I was able to increase the weight, increase the amount of sets I could do. It has to do with the oxygen getting to the blood. You should market this as an athletic performance. And I don't change anything about my diet or anything. I just thought, this is amazing. Bilberry extract is got something called resveratrol in it, which is the same stuff that you get from red wine. It's also good for eyesight. And I was reading that the Royal Air Force during World War II would give their pilots bilberry jam so they could have better night vision stuff. This is amazing.
To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
There's a staycation right here in town. It's Super 8 Motel Ocala, right down the road on 40, just west of I-75. And they're pet friendly. Have truck parking, free breakfast, a swimming pool, a kiddie pool, and veterans get 10% off. It's a staycation at Super 8 Ocala. Call today, Super 8 Ocala, at 352-629-8794. Again, 352-629-8794. You're getting ready to move and you work hard. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. You need pros. Trained professional moving experts to do the heavy lifting for you. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. They care about your things as much as you do, and they do it fast and right. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. Visit twomeninatruck.com and get moving.
2 Men in a Truck.
Veterans Day in the U.S. is also known as Armistice Day in other parts of the world, and it honors the many military who have fought for freedom. It is also the anniversary of the signing of the armistice that ended World War I. Major hostilities formally ended at the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918. The folks at the Voice of South Marion join you in remembering military past and present.
Brick City Creative Group is your one-stop multimedia destination. With the experience our team has, not many can really tell a story like we do. Specializing in live broadcasting, promo reels, film, and social media. No matter the story, we've got you covered with some of the best professionals in the industry. Your story is our mission. Find us on the web at brickcitycreativegroup.com or on Facebook at Brick City Creatives.
Started in 1975. It's Yendel's Building Materials. Whether you're making repairs, adding a room, or building a house, Yendel's constantly delivers excellent service and top quality materials and many of the tools and hardware you need to get the job done. At Yendel's, they take pride in supplying their customers with new and innovative products. Yendel's experience in truss design, manufacturing, and component materials is second to none. 834 North Magnolia Avenue in Ocala, 732-3000. Stop by to experience the difference.
Oh, hey, Grandpa. Oh, hey, Grandpa. Hey, Grandpa.
Yes, buddy?
Can you take me fishing this weekend?
I'd love to.
Have you noticed a change in your hearing over the years? Missing the little things in life? Visit Beneficial Hearing in Ocala today. Their expert team of audiologists will make sure you never miss a moment. Call Beneficial Hearing today at 352-629-4418 or visit them online, beneficialhearing.com.
Now you did it. Are you completely insane? He's back. He, who must not be named, the man, the myth, the only guy in Ocala to eat his own weight in fried pickles. Twice. Now, you asked for it. Sorta. Live and in person, it's Tom Schmitz.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks with Tom Schmitz on a dreary Monday morning. Coming to you live from the palatial studios of WOCA Radio, just outside the food court entrance to the Paddock Mall in the Brick City Beautiful. Ocala, Florida. We had announced last week that Sonda Eunice was supposed to be on the radio with us this morning. Hope everything's working out okay for her. I know with this traffic and with the roads and everything, she may be experiencing some difficulty getting into the radio. So hopefully everything's okay with Sonda. We'll continue to try to see what's going on with her. I get a little worried on these kind of weather days like this when people that are usually committed and show up, and then when they don't on this kind of weather days, you get a little worried. So I hope everything's okay with Sonda Eunice, and I hope she finds her way into the studio safely. Talking about the weather, tropical storm Eta, depending on how you want to pronounce it. A lot of people said Eta. The correct pronunciation is Eta, Zeta, Eta. If you know the Greek alphabet, alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, zeta, eta, theta, iota, kappa, lambda, mu, nu, xi, omicron, pi, rho, sigma, tau, upsilon, phi, chi, psi, omega, that alphabet. Then hurricane or tropical storm Eta is right around the Florida Keys, and it looks like it's going to ramble for a while. There's no real consensus. It's going to go south from the Keys, it looks like, back out into the Gulf, then get to be a Hurricane 1 status. Then the weather pattern, or the cone of existence, that cone that everybody follows, gets like a big incandescent light bulb. And it could, it's got a lot of places it could go. And it looks like it may be up in the Big Bend of Florida, but then I look at a lot of the models, and a lot of the models take it down south, then back up to a northeasterly flow, and then about even with Tampa Bay, it kicks it hard west back towards Texas, or what the models are showing. So I don't know where this storm is going. It's something that you need to keep an eye on. WOCA will keep you updated with its weather reports and all throughout the week. But just keep an eye on it with a caution that you don't really know where this thing could go. And it looked at Brevard County. I was looking at a video of Brevard County today and saw just flooding. That's the biggest part with this, is the flooding that's going to happen. That's going to happen right away, because I'm getting text messages and everything. It's flooding, and all in Brevard County. I saw cars underwater on the news out of Brevard County. They've gotten 6 inches of rain. This is one of those storms that's going to meander, and it's just going to hang out and rain. And we've had a lot of rain this rainy season. Not saying we don't need more rain. We always need to fill up the aquifer with as much water as we drink and we use here in Florida. We need rain to soak into the ground and fill up the aquifer, but flooding is not what we need. And there's some areas in Ocala that when it rains hard, it really, really floods pretty good. So just keep an eye on it. Go get don't go run out and buy all the toilet paper up. We're not there. I don't know what everybody's fascination with toilet paper is. I really don't. Anytime there's a crisis, let's go run out and buy up all the toilet paper. I just don't get it, folks. Well, you gotta have, ways to use the restroom. Well, yeah, but do you have to buy every strip of toilet paper in the world? And people do it incessantly. As soon as there's a crisis, grab the toilet paper. We did it with COVID. COVID-19 is a respiratory infection. We grabbed up all the toilet paper. It made no sense to me. Although I know of a few people that were so ingrained for hurricanes in this